Hello everyone, Jim coming at you from Outdoor Pro Shop in Cotati, California. Today we are continuing our crab series where we are going to go over how to and why we rig our crab traps the way that we do. If you haven't seen our last video, we talked about the gear needed to get you to this point of rigging. We'll go ahead and link it into the video, and without further ado, let's get right into it. So we're going to build a collapsible trap, and one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to secure a 2-ounce weight to the center of the crab trap door. So what this does is if you have a really strong current or the trap is getting knocked about down there, this will ensure that the trap door always returns to a closed position. Any weight will do. We're simply using a torpedo sinker, but an egg sinker, just so long as you have something that you can secure to the door. And as you can see, that'll return much easier to a closed position. I'll just take a pair of diagonal cutters and I'll nip those, and that's how you secure the weight. Next, we're going to take a 4-point harness. The 4-point harness is useful for these lighter traps because it allows you to lift up on the trap without putting a lot of stress on the corners, or it keeps the trap, the integrity of that trap, in place. So it's a simple matter of just connecting up the clips to each corner. So there we have the 4 corners secured. Something I always like to do with the collapsible traps, even though they are a collapsible trap, I do like to take the tabs that secure them and give them a squeeze with a pair of slip joint pliers. This will ensure that it stays nice and closed up when you deploy the trap. Next, we're going to attach crab trap rope to the harness. And what we're going to do here is simply tie what is called a uni knot, much the same knot that you would tie if you're connecting your line to your reel or to a lure. So I'm going to take my rope. I'm going to bring about a 1.5 foot section of rope, and then I'm going to make a loop, and then I'm going to make a bunch of coils here. I like to go with about 6 wraps. Like so. I'm going to bring that up, and then I'm going to slide the uni knot down onto the ring. Now we set up a lot of zip ties here because we like to use a lot of zip ties when we secure a trap. It's a good way to ensure that the rope the knot doesn't back off on you. And that's what secures your leaded 5/16 rope to the crab trap harness. All right, we have that done. As you can see, this collapsible trap is already equipped with a single strand of rotten cotton. This cotton is designed to rot away, as the name suggests, if the crab trap does get lost, if somehow it rolls away from you. This will rot out in a couple weeks' time, allowing the crabs to escape through this hatch. Next, we're going to take a 100-foot section of 5/16 leaded rope. I'm going to find the tag end. I'm going to peel off about 6 feet of rope. Next, I'm going to take the rope and in exactly the same fashion that we connected the rope to the harness ring, I'm going to do yet another uni knot with the same number of wraps. And I will not secure this knot with the zip ties until I'm completely done. So now we have a loop about 3.5 feet long. So I'm going to do an overhand knot over my uni knot. And the reason I'm going to do an overhand knot is that I'm going to create some space so that there's no chance that the knot will end up slipping through the hole in the buoy. So I'm going to feed the loop through, and now I have a loop. It's important that we have a good size sectional loop to start with because we're going to do a couple of overhand knots. And the reason we're going to do the overhand knots is for the same reason as we did it on the other side, is to create enough area that it won't allow the rope to slip back through. So I'm just going to work that knot down until I got a big knot there. And I'm going to secure this a little better just by squeezing the loop apart so that it dogs down that knot. I wouldn't worry too much about the looseness of these knots because as they get in the water and they soak for a while, this rope will swell up a little bit. So I'm satisfied with the length of loop that I want. I usually leave a big section of loop so that with your boat hook, it's easy to grab the crab trap. We do the loop on the blunt side so that if the buoy is in the current or the wind, it's going to have less resistance and it's less likely to pick up your trap and walk your trap away. So I'm satisfied with the length of the loops. So I'm going to secure a couple of zip ties here. And when it comes to building traps, I like to use a lot of zip ties. Better to be safe. I'm going to do the same thing at the loop. Make sure that the rope has nowhere to go and that your knots stay tight. So I'm satisfied with that, so I'm going to trim all of the zip ties away. So, last steps. We're going to install our bait bag and our bait pints. We use a mesh bait bag for things like rockfish and lingcod, or maybe your wife made a brisket that she thought was going to be so tender and it turned out to be like a brick. Don't throw it away. Put it in this bait bag. The crabs will love it. But for the most part, we use rockfish carcasses and rough baits. And so what we're going to do is we try and ensure that the bag sits right in the center of the pot. So I'm going to run this through like so, and we're just going to clip it so that the bag will hang right in the middle. It gives the crabs an opportunity to get into the trap instead of picking at it from outside the trap. Then we're going to use a Scotty half-pint bait jar, or a pint bait jar, and this is what we'll put things like squid or mackerel in. Those are my favorite baits, and I'm going to pin that right next to the bait bag. So we have the scent that they can't get into, and we have the mesh bag, which will get the crabs really excited. And that's it. You just need to add a little bit of weight to these traps if you're going to fish them a little deeper, and this is good to go. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Hopefully this helps and inspires you to get out there and put some crab on the table for you, your friends, and your family. Again, if you don't want to rig your own traps and are local to our area, we do sell 3 pre-rigged traps that are good to go. Be sure to like, comment, follow, subscribe, all of the above if you enjoyed this video. Thank you and see you next time.